He's a riddle, wrapped in a mystery, inside an enigma.
Hey there, and welcome to another Minute Microscopy. I'm Casey Rochford. Why don't you like and share and subscribe to the channel? Because you're awesome, and that's what awesome people do. So, today I'd like to dispel some myths and, and there's one false analogy that's not really a myth, about the concept of male birth control. There's a lot of myths surrounding this. There's the idea that nobody's studying male contraceptives. There's the idea that men don't want to take the responsibility, or men don't like the side effects. These are all speculative things that you find on blog sites to buttress your own pre-existing opinion. So first, I want to attack the false analogy that comes up in any argument over these things. Is covering birth control for women versus Viagra. So first off, there is one myth around that. Pretty much no insurance, none that I'm aware of, cover Viagra. And pretty much all of them do cover birth control, unless you work for like Hobby Lobby or something. So the other idea around this is that, one is meant for having an erection, and the other is to prevent pregnancy. You're really comparing apples and oranges there, aren't you? So the thing that most people point to is that, well, Viagra is just for fun. And it's like, well, are you taking birth control so you won't have sex? Like, you still want to have fun too, right? That's kind of the point of birth control. Have the fun, no kids, right? And it's that same way. If you can't have an erection, you can't have sex. But if you wanted to have kids and you couldn't have an erection, you'd kind of be stuck unless you had tens of thousands of dollars for IVF and you could somehow ejaculate without an erection, which is possible but hard. The whole point being, you both want sex. So stop bickering about that one. Now, the first myth I wanted to tackle is that there is no studies involved in this, and there have been for like 50 years. There's a few things that are in trials right now. DMAU, 11 beta M and TDC, and then NES/T, which is like a topical gel or something. And all of these are fairly effective. They work in a similar way, and they suppress some certain hormones and stuff. And there's side effects, and the side effects are basically the same as birth control for women. And men aren't really complaining about them too much. A little acne and mild erectile dysfunction and slightly lowered libido and things like that. But it also lowers your testosterone, which can cause further complications. They need more long-term studies, osteopenia, where your bones become brittle, things like that. Things that could be potentially dangerous. But that's not really stopping any of the studies from going on. So that's a myth busted. Another one is that men don't want to take responsibility, and that's absolutely crap. Men don't necessarily want to get stuck into a legal battle over children. They don't want to have wages garnished. And yeah, you can argue that some guys get away with not doing any of that. They're complete deadbeats. Yeah, that happens. But on the flip side, you also have women that say, yeah, I'm taking birth control, but they aren't, just so that they can get pregnant and trap the guy, into one of those legal battles. And so it really goes both ways. It is a two-way road. There are some bastards, there are some bitches. That's how life works. But for the most part, people are trying to be honest and responsible. And men would really love it if there was a way that they could easily do that without having to reach for the condom and all that stuff. So basically, studies like this take time, right? Decades, especially with contraceptives, because there's so many long-term effects that go into that. And the reason we already have female birth control on the market is because of the way our gametes are produced. The egg is produced like once a month, and timing hormones to suppress that is so much easier than suppressing the hormones that produce sperm, which is happening on a constant basis, day after day after day after day. So all in all, there's just a few myths I wanted to bust around that. I know this went really long, but we just do that nowadays. We should have called it a 5-minute microscopy, really. Oh well, hindsight is 2020.